Today, back at another lift station. Starting to feel like that's all I do now. Got ourselves another variable flagellator not doing its job. This time it's Allen Bradley, so it's expensive.
Oh, you think you fancy?
And way down there is its life partner, the rusty shit pump. Anyway, this poor girl won't go roundy round in auto, so we're gonna figure out why. Looks like our HOA is a little confused between O and A, but anyway, it runs in hand, so probably isn't a drive issue. Alright, let's turn it back to semi-off and see what's going on.
Turn it off.
So I work on a lot of different brands, but generally it's either Siemens or Allen Bradley in the area that I'm in. And to be honest, I prefer Allen Bradley, but I haven't messed with one of these 700 series in a while, so I kind of had to fumble through it to get to the digital input statuses, which ended up being kind of a waste of time anyway. In a lot of these applications, we're using a digital input to enable the drive, and then we'll run based on an analog signal. So I was trying to see what the digital inputs were doing in hand and auto. I was getting a change of state in hand, but not auto, which obviously made sense because it works in hand. But anyway, let's open this thing up and see if there are any prints. Plenty of room for activities in this cabinet, which is a nice surprise. But as usual, it looks like our stickies failed, because they always do. They really didn't skimp on the terminal blocks with that HOA. No wonder it was cocked. Alright, so I found a print, and as you can see from my shaky left-handed screwdriver pointing, hand state sends power directly to digital input 1, and auto state goes through a pair of contacts outside the cabinet, which makes sense because there's a PLC here. But it looks like they share the same digital input. Anyway, we're going to need wire 1006 and yeah, there's no wire number there. So TB1, let's start there. There's our 1006 and looks like they're using 1005. I didn't see that in the print. Tell me if I'm stupid in the comments. But that should be our auto circuit. Let's see how they labeled it on the other side. Alright, auto, start. And they're both auto start. Well, that's infuriating.
If you'd like help to stop doing that, send for this informational pamphlet, How to Stop Doing That.
So I was going to jump it out at this point and see if it ran in auto, but I decided to look some more. Pro tip, if you ever want a good set of jumpers, take some old meter leads and solder them together. They'll also scare the shit out of your coworker if they think you're holding a meter for them and you hand them those. Alright, let's take a look in this PLC cabinet, which apparently should have been twice the size because they clearly ran out of room. I hate when they put stuff on the sides, but I know you have to sometimes. They had a bunch of prints, but none of them were for this cabinet, so that didn't really help. After some advanced relay poking, I found the relay we need is CR40, which is being energized. Looks like the contacts are 274A and 274B. So I guess we'll see where those go. So if you remember in the other cabinet, they were both labeled auto start, but on this side, they're not labeled that, which is the ultimate sin in my world.
Stop doing that.
Stop doing that.
Stop doing that.
I'd almost rather it not be labeled than labeled two different things on the same wire. But anyway, let's see what's going on. This one feels funky, and yep, that's a problem. Probably the same guy that labeled it two different things. If you were wondering why the wire is black, it's not because it got hot, it's because of the hydrogen sulfide gas that builds up in these places. It becomes a problem after a few years. Alright, now that it's been torqued to as tight as I can make it, I think we're done in this cabinet. Now we just need the pump to start in auto again. Looks like it's supposed to start at 90 inches and we're only at 80. Make sure the pump's in lead and wait for it to come up. Okay, that's high enough, so it should be calling for it now. Slapper in auto, and look at that. Works a lot better when the wires are connected. Good to go. That's the important stuff done, so if you just came here for the troubleshooting, you're welcome to go back to your furry porn or whatever you guys watch. I don't judge.
There is no shame in my safe space.
But anyway, let's fix this. I always tell myself I'm going to leave things a little better than when I found them, but I don't always follow that rule. But today I was in the mood and I figured, let's fix this thing that doesn't really affect the operation and no one will ever really see and is hidden inside a steel cabinet, inside a lift station, inside a locked gate. That can definitely be the struggle sometimes in this job. It's hard to find motivation when almost nobody knows what the hell you even did. And most of the people that do know don't really give a shit. But that's why it helps to actually like your job. So let's violate the UL listing on this cabinet and fix this thing up. Like I said in a previous video, I don't have a stud welder, so we're just going to through bolt this. If you're working alone like me, I recommend using vice grips to hold the nut, because unless you're 12 feet tall, you're not going to reach your arms around this door to get to both sides. I think having a couple screw heads on the outside is worth not having the wires fall off on the inside. Ooh, so smooth. Anyway, that's what it looked like when I was done. I didn't have any wire loom on the truck, so it's going to have to do for now. But at least it won't fall off again. As an electrician, I'm obligated to mark my territory, which I did. So we should be all good now to close everything on up and get the hell out of here. And if you only learned one thing from this video, let it be tighten your damn connections.